Welcome and welcome back to my channel, Elemental Origins. My name is Starr. This evening I'm going to enter into the space with some sage, violet and rose smudge stick. And there is a lot that wants to come through. This is going to be a collective reading. I'm hearing that we are testing discernment yet again for the collective right now. And I think that with shadow season coming up, it's going to be very easy for the collective to want to rely on others' information at this time, when it's very much a space of you really needing to turn within and to be trusting yourself. So these messages are going to be of guidance, but you're going to have to discern which messages are specifically for you. And for some, I'm hearing this very much is a test. But the new moon in Virgo is all about letting go of all that you perceive to be wrong with yourself. This moon is about turning in and understanding where you have been limiting yourself in your terms of manifestation, in the terms of how you've been looking at the world, and specifically yourself. It just felt like the season that we've just come out of, depending where you are in your northern or southern summer hemisphere. Why don't I trying to say summer? So there's specific understanding with the summer that has just been, and that's for us in the northern hemisphere. So what's been coming up for you this summer? Look at what notions have been particularly challenging to you and why that might have been. That's going to be a point of reference moving into this new moon in Virgo for some. But it's a time to release perfectionism and also idealism, and this idea of, thinking that we perhaps know exactly how we want our life to look, and feeling like we know what's best for us. And I'm saying this to those that, know that they tap into ether, know that they tap into their spirit guides, which is going to be, a lot of you here, but not all, I'm hearing. So it's this idea of trusting in the divine, trusting in the universe, trusting in God, whatever you want to insert word here that you believe right now, trusting that they do have a bird's eye view over your life, all of your past lives. And sometimes we're in very small snapshots of understanding at certain points in our life, and it's not about using the understanding of where you are, but trusting in the divine to bring to you that which you actually need. And sometimes, what we think that we want and what we actually need are two very different things. But welcome to shadow season, everyone. But I'm hearing that it's coming at a time when you nearly need to be looking at almost, how do I want to word that? You want to be looking at the spaces in which you feel you are lacking within your personal self. This shadow season, these eclipses that are coming up, this new moon is setting you up to understand exactly where you need to pinpoint what is a negative space within you. And I was seeing that in terms of not necessarily in terms of emotional negative, but just like the blank space. But then I was hearing, yes, a negative space. It's almost like it's bringing forward all the parts of self that you deem to be negative, so that you can look at those aspects and let go of some things that truly aren't yours. I'm hearing that so many of you in the collective have been picking up the karma of others, have been picking up the influence and energies of others. And that really needs to be released with this new moon, so that you can go into shadow season thinking about self. It feels like so many of you in this season that's just been, you've been thinking about so many others in your life rather than thinking about your own needs and putting them first. So this is about what do you need right now to help you gain a better grasp of self, of your expanse, of the ascension process, whatever relates to you here. But it's very much a moon of looking at the inner critic, the lack of confidence that might be present in your life, and seeking external validation. And this idea of feeling like we need fear, but also feeling like we need the words of others to soothe us at this time. And I think some of you have been very much pushed into a corner to be self-soothing right now. And I was hearing it was going to be a tough love moon, but then I actually wrote through love moon. And it's going to be through love that some of you actually really release all that has been holding you back for the longest time. It feels like this shadow season is going to be the final season where you let go of so much baggage, if you can really, really, really decide to turn within right now and to some, you've even heard this and want to completely stop this video. If this is how you feel hearing these words, then this reading is most definitely going to be for you. And there's probably going to be things in here that you are not wanting to hear. But I promise you, if you stick with and you decide to say, okay, I'm really going to just work this season on myself and caring and looking after myself and nurturing myself, I promise you, you can absolutely 360 turn your life around. So take a minute to really assess where you are right now in yourself, because I think this is going to help you truly understand yourself and perhaps just how far away you have been from soul for a little while, some of you. So go easy with self with today's reading, with this new moon, because I think that it might bring up a lot of emotion for some. If you would like support in that space, please do not hesitate to reach out. And I think that so many of you are going to go through like a massive upgrade in your psychic and spiritual gifts and abilities too, that perhaps some of you have not been anticipating, and some of you really have not been anticipating this path. It's like everything's going to come in at the drop of a hat, at a blink of an eye, and you're just going to think, whoa, like what happened? I didn't ask for this. None of this was, what I was calling in, but your soul has been calling it in. It's been your destined life path to receive such understanding. So that's incredibly exciting to hear. And, if you do want support in any of that, please do not hesitate to reach out. And I'm laughing because I'm thinking about myself, in my own personal journey, and just how much of all of this just took on a life of its own that I truly didn't feel like I had a 0% control over, for so many aspects of this. And, the deep amounts of surrender that one has to go through is just mind-boggling at times. So know that you're not alone, and there's plenty of others that have felt like you. I definitely came kicking and screaming through many parts of this journey. I, didn't want to do a lot of the things that I was being told I was going to have to do, and many aspects of self and soul that I was having to face. I've spat my dummy out of my pram many a times with my teams of light, and that continues to be the case. So just remember that when you are expanding, everyone, it doesn't look how you think it's going to look. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. It can be really tough. It can be incredibly confusing and chaotic. And I say that my awakening was violent because that's how it felt to me. So know that however you find yourself in your path and your journey right now, there is no wrong expression. It's just about what you chose for this life path, and hold that in heart when things do get perceivingly maybe a little bit tougher than you were expecting. And I was getting this overall notion for everyone to just think about, what does love mean to you? And I feel like the collective are being tested, because what we might once have considered love to be, on this planet as Earth, everything is shifting so rapidly that our understanding of that is incredibly shifting as well, alongside all of the expanse that is happening. It's our perception of love that is changing. And for some, this is going to feel like music to your ears, because you know that you've been on track. It's felt like you've been questioning everything, and you realize that everything that you were questioning was coming back to this idea of love and a nurturing essence and what that means to you. So if you've been there, you're in total alignment with your understanding, and this is at a collective level. This is not just your energy that you've been working through. So if it's been feeling like incredibly intense, incredibly extremes, your emotions right now, know that you've been purging for the collective and not just yourself. So, hats off to you for taking that on to the soul's level. But I think that's all I want to share for now. I'm going to pull some oracle, I'm going to pull some tarot, and end on some rose oracle as well for our closing messages. But I want this reading to be a time to pause. I feel like it might be challenging for some, hearing the messages, and feel triggered. That's okay, but please do come back to this. And I was getting the message to tell everyone to please pause now and go and grab a pen and paper, because you're going to want to make notes on this reading, because this is going to be some of the work that some of you will be using throughout shadow season, for the next month and a half at least, for the collective at large. And it's really about just allowing yourself to surrender to whatever is coming up, because whatever is coming up for you is coming up so that you can heal it, so that you can enjoy your life better, I'm hearing. But I have brought some crystals into the mix today. I brought in some amethyst, I brought in some clear quartz, I brought in a magpie feather, I brought in the chakra alignment points, I brought in some carnelian, some jasper, some petrified wood, and also this pyrite dragon. And as I was setting up for today, I was really seeing the sparkling notes of this dragon, and I don't often see that when I pick up this crystal that I was very much gifted by a gorgeous, gorgeous friend of mine, so thank you very much. And also this incredibly iridescent geode. And I've been working of late with the Sisters of Lemuria. That's been something that's been coming up in my spaces time and time again. And this idea of the water being a space to be incredibly cleansing. And I've been back in very strategic and, very rigid salt baths and cleanses of the past week and a half, 2 weeks. So some of you might want to tap into that notion as well. I feel like there's going to be some energies of the Lemurian understandings being brought forward. And specifically, if you resonate as being a divine feminine at this time, predominantly in your energy, gender neutral within that expression, it feels like there is an essence ever stepping forward that is wanting to cleanse this divine feminine energy so it can step forward stronger, and not in a stronger essence of the way that we have been living. It's like the masculine energy that has been having to dominate the divine feminine energies lives to survive is now being broken down so that we can actually step into this true divine feminine energy where we can be a nurturing essence. And we're not going to be attacked. That's like the strongest feeling that's coming forward, and massive trigger warnings on that and apologies, but it feels like we're now going to come into a space where we're not going to be attacked again, which is a really profound understanding to step forward. And there's a lot of emotion connected to that for the collective at large, the divine feminines and divine masculines within this space together. It feels like we're really going to have to be working together better. So take a minute to pause here and trust in everything that you were already feeling. And I was getting, sorry, there's a lot coming through. There was a lot of pre-messages that I was told to not write down because I just remember, so I'm trying to get through all of them. And I also brought in the carnelian here, and I always see this as the eye. And I was getting this message of the master's eye is now being replaced with magic. And this has been my one that I've been using of late for magic. And this amethyst is one of the very first amethysts I ever had, and I've always seen it as such a magical energy. It reminded me of Sailor Moon a lot, so that's confirmation for someone else. But the master's eye is now being replaced with magic. So that's a deeper message for some. And I've also brought in the terracotta turtle here, and I can't remember the name of this stone, but it's so flashy. I don't know if you can see that on here. And my mind's gone completely blank. So we've got a mystery eyeball, I'm hearing. Interesting. We are coming up into Halloween season soon, so maybe that's there for some as a confirmation. But I'm going to pull some archetype cards to begin with. I was aiming to pull 3 to get the energies for this Virgo New Moon. First card that we've got is the Warrior. I have to have a little bit of a shuffle around. Ooh, I hate this card. The comic, and I always find this very, very disturbing, this card. It just gives me the heebie-jeebies, but I'm seeing the rainbows already in there, which I'm finding interesting. Well, the heart. And I'm always drawn to garnet when I see that little notion there, that little accent of a crystal. And I rewatched a show that's called Midnight Mass, and I did that off the back of my own reading. I was told to rewatch the show because there's some quite profound moments that happen in a boat. So that's a message for some out there as well. And for some of you, getting back into your creative essence is really going to help you heal this eclipse season. And for some of you, there is a deep emotional wound within the creative space. So working with the sacral chakra is going to help you align in that energy. I brought in a lot of grounding crystals as well, I noticed, which is also connected to the root chakra. And I've started a chakra reading series that I have been putting a lot of Reiki energy into. So if you want to head over to my playlist and check out those 2 videos, that might be helpful for you as well in your expression, your understanding. But it feels like through creative energy, you are going to heal the deepest and most tender parts of self. And for some of you, this is very much connected to inner child healing and wearing a mask from, I'm hearing the minute you stepped out, out of the womb, it was like you felt like you had to pretend to be someone that you are not. And you've been slowly but surely taking down those barriers and allowing for others to truly see whom you are. and you've hit all aspects of understanding of that with others. You've really been challenged in your space of late to stand stronger in your convictions and keep telling people that you're not going to be anything other than you, and however they feel about that is up to them, but you're going to continue to be you because you know that you are a good person. You know that you are a divine being and that you hold a lot of inherent power. Do not fold now. Do not falter now. You've done nothing wrong. That's messages for some, not all. And you know, this idea of right and wrong, I think, is very, I don't know where I sit with any of that anymore, to be honest with you. I just see everything as learning or task being fulfilled for many different aspects of expression. And, you know, there always has to be a villain and a hero in a story sometimes. And you can be both sides of that spectrum. I've seen past lives when I've been terrible, terrible, terrible things. You know, things that I found very, very challenging to sit with. And if you would like to know a little bit more about that expression, do not hesitate to reach out, and I'll happily share that with you. But I had to face some real dark aspects of self in previous lives that I thought, I don't even know how I can share that with others because I felt so ashamed in that space. But then you realize that you have to be all sides of the spectrum to be a well-rounded soul. So whomever this message is for, remember that too. And I'm being drawn to the diamond in the skull here. And everyone that is here, you do shine bright like a diamond. And not everyone can see your shine because they're not supposed to. So don't stay in situations where you don't feel like you are appreciated. Don't stay in situations where you feel like you are overgiving at all times, and allow for yourself to receive. And I think this is very much connected to this divine feminine energy, and perhaps as feeling like we don't deserve to receive as a collective of divine feminines. And I'm putting that out there because I feel it in my heart to be true. And I feel like I see it in my spaces time and time again, where I see that there is this overgiving, overbearing almost nature of the divine feminine to step forward and always want to nurture to the capacity of where it's not helpful for self. And I think that's a space that so many of us have had to operate from, but no more, I'm hearing. And I've just flipped a card out from the, I'm going to just start calling this the Ma'at Oracle deck as well now. I converse with awareness, and the hummingbird there is standing out strong. I converse with awareness. I regard all altars with respect. I am peaceful, and we've got the eagle here. Time isn't running out. That was a strong message for some. And this card flipped up, but I'm told not to take it. I am kind. And this idea of the serpent and fire. Some of you are putting down and putting out the fire right now. You're putting out the fire and you're saying, I don't want to fight anymore. And this was definitely an expression that was coming through in my other spaces, within more of galactic understandings, I guess. And this idea of that the fight is over, the war is over for some. You're now ready for a more peaceful life. It's like you did everything that you were supposed to, and now you want to be this healing and nurturing essence for the land. Some of you are going to come straight from combat to be working on the land, and some of you that is metaphorical in its understanding, and for others it's quite literal in its expression. And I'm being drawn to the bun here. Bun in the oven I'm hearing, so I'm going to say it because I can hear it. The bird here and the sun. And this idea of the sun holds so much power, and I think so many of you have really been tapping into the sun's energy. If you are in the northern hemisphere, if you're on the southern hemisphere, you're going to want to start working with the sun, because it's going to allow for you to truly understand your soul's expression. And I definitely switched from connecting with Mother Moon to connecting to Father Sun for quite deeply for some time, and I literally felt like my whole entire body was vibrating this summer at certain points, just receiving the sun's energies, and I could see the rays coming from the sun, like I could see energy coming from the sun like I've never seen it before. And I've spent some time sun gazing, and I felt like the sun was just giving off such a potent energy, and it was some expressions, it turned into a different color. It was like bright pink one day, it was like fluorescent green one day, and I was like, oh, like there is so much energy within this space that, you know, we are told we shouldn't be connecting into, because it is so powerful. And I always made sure to be wearing my ankh necklace, my gold ankh necklace, when I was out in the sunshine. So that's just a message for some, to be connecting in with the energy of gold, because it does have the highest vibration right now. At least that's what I'm told in my spaces. So that's also a confirmation. And I'm being drawn to my Shiva stone that I kept in my pocket for a lot of the summer as well. So some of you might want to be connecting in with the Shiva stone also, and looking into that divine feminine energy and the idea of the land, especially if you resonate with this energy of putting down your swords and working on the land. It's like you're ready to come into that capacity of divine feminine energy. And whether you relate as being a divine masculine, you are balancing out your divine feminine energy throughout the next season, throughout this eclipse season, because it's time to be softer. And for some, you already felt like you were very soft, but it's going to be a balanced energy. This is going to be an energy where you feel this divine feminine power and all of its capacity, and also that nurturing essence too. So that's for some that have been feeling like, you know, I don't know where my power lies. It's in your divine feminine energy. And that's the energy that is leading right now. But we're being given the space to be able to lead in a balanced way. And I feel like this is the energies of Lemuria seeping in to our present time. I'm going to pull some cards from the Sacred Spirit Oracle. Sacred Spirit Oracle. New Moon in Virgo. What messages do we have for the collective? Well, Hidden Realms, create conscious awareness. Some of you, shamanic journeying is going to be incredibly healing for you at this time. There's some spaces that you really need to connect into, and I've been told to make some space so that I can be in my own energy, again, a deeper capacity. So that's a confirmation for some. You're in total alignment, and you might feel like you have so many other spaces to be in. That's okay, but make sure that you are carving out time for self. And we've just had a card hit the floor, and if it touches the floor, it's ×4. And I can't remember which reader said that I heard, but it really stuck with me, and I thought that's definitely something that I'm going to share. And I love this card. Galactic Healer, move forward with an open mind. And for some of you, you've been leading with your mind, and now you've been suffocated to the point that you're now going to have to lead with your heart. And I could physically feel this in my body. And to some of you, you might feel like you can't even feel your body right now. And I'm hearing that you've almost been put on ice so that you have to feel through your heart. And now that I've said it, it's going to make so much sense to those that relates to. You've been feeling like, I don't know what's going on with my body. Your body's been put on ice so that you can feel your heart. And for some of you, this is this understanding of you being in stasis somewhere else. It's like that entire expression of you is almost being put on ice because you're integrating it in the here and now. It's almost like that body doesn't need to exist anymore because you're morphing into your most authentic self, and the self that you perhaps left in another space. I'm hearing that's definitely to my, galactic beings and understandings out here. I'm going to just shake some beans to release some energy, so please be careful those that have got headphones on. I thought I was going to do this at some point, but I wasn't sure when. And for some of you, moving your body is going to be incredibly important this eclipse season. You're going to want to make sure that you can just express yourself in all the ways that you want to. No holding back, I'm hearing. And specifically, if you're thinking of, a sensual space right now, let yourself just be in flow in that space. And, for many, there might be reasons why you're not wanting that to happen. So that needs to be addressed to whomever that relates to. I am going to pull some from the I'm going to just say Queen of the Moon Oracle. I want to say Magic Moon Oracle. So I'm going to pull a few cards from the Queen of the Moon. Yeah, this divine feminine energy, it's so here and present. Wow. Snow Moon and Purity. And we've got number 30 on there. For some of you, you're going to have to simplify and purify your life. And this is going to feel incredibly foreign to you. But this is to help you reach the deepest aspect of growth that you've ever reached in your life before. I'm having trouble with the camera this evening. Waning crescent moon 3 with growth and the number 5 on there. Some of you, you're going to turn into the most divine creature I'm hearing that has ever graced the planet. And you've been feeling this energy for some time. Some of you are in a chrysalis right now, and this eclipse season is going to completely change you. You're not going to be the same being. 24 and waning crescent moon 1 and protection. And yeah, you are being divinely protected at this time. So have no fear. Some of you, it's almost like you've been, I was getting this message before sitting down. I was thinking about career in this space of the new moon in Virgo, and I was hearing that so many of you are going to want to focus on career right now, or how you are gaining monetary value, but actually it's going to be a real testing time because you're going to have to focus on inner self, on your spiritual essence and your soul, because that's what's going to lead you into direct alignment for the best ways for you to be creating abundance for yourself this life. And for some of you, you've been put through the ringer with understanding abundance as opposed to monetary value, and you've learned those lessons, but now it's time to truly step into soul so that you can bring forward this expression of you that you haven't even met yet. For some of you, you think you know who you are, but you really don't. And that is said with the lightest of expression, and also with the most amount of, I can feel almost like everyone's guides, like laughing and crying, because they can see where you are in your journey. And some of you really, really, really think you already know who you are, but you just haven't met the best version of you yet. And they love you so much that they can't wait for you to even meet you, because they know that you're going to love you. Wow, because they love you. And I really feel like everyone is going to be pushed into a space of having to truly love themselves. And I think that is definitely where I've been feeling a block of late from the collective energy, is this idea of not feeling worthy to be receiving messages or connections to, ether, divine, God, source, universe, whatever you insert, word here, teams of light, star beings. But we are all worthy. We all come from the stars. We are all magic. We all hold such divine knowledge and power and expression. And, I've definitely been through all understandings of that on my path. I've definitely been through phases where I just felt really, really hurt and triggered by humans, that, I didn't hold a lot of love for humanity and humans out there. I resonate as being a Pleiadian starseed, those that have been with me for a while. So, I started to see human energy as completely separate from self, and that was quite a self-destructive space to be in. I could see where I was definitely having a pity party in that space, and, playing the victim in that, whilst not understanding that, I'm still human somewhere. And I had to start to love my human essence, because I felt like it was my human essence that brought me so much pain, because that's the truth. My Pleiadian self didn't feel as much pain as my human self did, and I was angry for even being here, for deciding to come down, for taking a life again. I thought, why have I done this? It's so challenging. I hate it. And I think some of you are that point in your path right now, whether this is connecting to you being a starseed, whether this is connecting into other and ether and the divine. It can be quite intoxicating when you first start to connect in with magic and other such, because it feels really powerful, and you start to see the rest of life is really mundane and boring, and you really just want to be exploring in the ether more and more and more and more and more, and eventually you come to wanting and needing a balance. It's like you realize that you need to be grounded here. You realize that you really need to enjoy the day-to-day aspects of life to be able to enjoy the magic in a balanced and healthy way. We are creating, magic on earth at this time. That's the whole idea of many of us being here, where we are allowing ourselves to free up our energy and our space on earth. And I think some of you have forgotten why you've come here, because it's been so incredibly challenging, your path. And, I'm right there with you. I still think coming to terms with, exactly why I've come here, and the understanding of all of that just gets ever more profound by the day. So there's no judgment here, there's no shame here, there's no you're on the wrong path and you haven't been looking through the right lens, but it's time to have hyper fixate and focus on you, and actually enjoying every expression that is possible to you. And now I'm finally coming into a space where I enjoy doing the human things again. I'm so grateful for my human body and what she allows me to experience. I love my galactic body. It's incredibly impressive. I remember the first time I saw myself and I was like, whoa, okay, like this is insane, for one. But also, wow, like that's incredible. But it would have its drawbacks of being 8 foot tall here in this present given time. So I've been really learning to love my human avatar, love my human vessel, and allow for myself to experience everything that it means to be human. And it's a very different way you experience life being a human as opposed to in some of the galactic spheres right now. And galactic beings are actually jumping over themselves to have a human vessel right now, because the capacity that you can get to in a human body right now is just beyond all imagination. You get to have all of the energies from all of the realms and be in a human physical form that you can also change at will. And for some of you, you're going to go through physical changes within this next month and a month and a half, 2 months I'm hearing for some, that you're going to be really happy for, but also they might be quite challenging on self. And my eyes shifted color at some point. My body has gone through all sorts of phases. And quite challenging phases too, with regards to purging, and my menstrual cycle being in a lot of pain and being really bloated at times, and my skin feeling itchy, my skin feeling like it's on fire, feeling like I've been ice cold at times, feeling like I couldn't even open my eyes. I had to lay in bed with sunglasses on for the summer of 2022. I felt like a vampire, genuinely my skin was burning in the sun, and I thought, I can't even go outside. So there was a lot that's brought forward through the ascension process. So just be aware of that. And if you would like help in that space, or something's happened, you think, what is going on, please do seek medical understandings. But sometimes it's beyond medical expression that things happen. I get random pains sometimes and I'm like, what was that? And hey, don't worry, we're just working on you. So that's in there too, for just as a warning for some that you might be going through some mass ascension symptoms. So please grab yourself some hematoid quartz. That was definitely something that really helped me. But don't hesitate to reach out if you would like advice on that. But this idea of that you are incredibly protected, so let this new moon hold you, because you deserve to be held, is a strong expression coming through. And I'm going to pull some tarot as well to gain a deeper expression of being drawn to this growth. What does growth mean to the collective right now through this new moon in Virgo? What can they express within self? Okay. Five of Swords. In the reverse. Okay. Five of Swords, Two of Pentacles in the reverse. And the Magician in the upright. Perfect. We've got the pentagram here. That's going to be a deeper expression for some. Those that have been following my work and research for a little while. The sword, the pentagram, and the red wine with the jaguar. And I'm seeing that as a black jaguar, which is interesting, and the infinity symbol. The Mothman prophecies are being brought forward. That was an expression that I was looking into again. Wow. And the bottom of the deck energy, we've got the sun, and I can not look at this card without seeing something incredibly rude, and I hate that my mind does that. But somewhere, teen brain switches on, and I can't unsee it now that I see it. Allow for the metamorphosis to happen. Some of you are really resisting this change right now because you're terrified of what that might mean, and where you land on the other side of all of this growth. But it's, it's almost been prophesized, it has been prophesized that, you're supposed to go through this growth. The growth is waiting for you. It's because you called it in long ago. So don't fight it, because it's going to happen anyway, is what I'm hearing. And for some of you, you've had to say no and walk away from so much. You just think, I can't let go of anything more. And I completely hear you, and I definitely resonate with that energy of late for sure. But you're going to be supported in everything. And for some of you, you're feeling like, I've heard that before and I haven't felt supported thus far. And I promise you that it's only been through it's only been there in this way so that you can grow to the deepest capacity and the deepest strength that your soul needs to endure this lifetime. And this is not an enduring space for ever where you're going to be suffering. It's almost like you had to reach the depths of pain so that you could hold others in their pain. It's almost like you had to reach the bottom of the everything so that you could hold others in their space when they come to you. And that's not going to be painful for you. You know, you're just going to be able to know how to handle those situations because you've been to the gates of hell and back, I'm hearing. You know, insert whatever darkness looks like to you there. But I think it's important to trust that you can alchemize anything in your life and have that be the overarching feeling that you go into any situation. For some, you've really been giving your power away to this idea of, oh, you know, a situation's like this, so I can't change it. And for some, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised as to what happens in the next 2 to 3 months and just how much you saying yes or no to certain expressions is allowing for your whole entire world to change and disappear in front of you in the best possible way. For some of you, it's like, you know, you're going to be visiting the stars, you're going to be reaching the stars. Those expressions that you thought were once lost are not lost. And I'm seeing this Jaguar, you know, look over to this hidden realms. For some of you, there are spaces that you haven't even visited yet that where you are so welcomed and loved that you're not going to know what's hit you. Because you've been seeking love, you've been searching for love, and I'm hearing it's not been reciprocated in your spaces because there's been an expression that's been wanting to step forward to you so that you could experience that love at its deepest capacity first, and then you could turn around and receive that love back from everyone else too. It's almost like you had to reach this point in expression of self and divine essence so you could filter that down through your own being to others. For some of you, you love everyone and everybody knows it, and they sink into that energy with you so deeply that sometimes they forget to hold you, and you know that's on them. I wanted to say pile 3, so maybe you come from pile 3 in the last expression that I've done with, and then pick a card. I can't actually remember what that is at this point. But it's almost like that had to be the way so that you could love self deeper, and you had to cut cords with certain expressions so that you could bring all of that energy back to self. But now you're going to receive a love that is even grander than your capacity right now so that you can experience that and embody that and then send that out to others. So this has very much been a, what's the word I'm looking for? I wanted to say a hero story. So some of you, you know, you are considered to be a hero in your spaces. And, you know, this goes out to mothers and fathers out there. You know, I think that our parents are our heroes, you know, up until a point in our life, but they are the bestest thing that could have ever happened in your life. You know, you see them as knowing the most and loving you the most and giving you everything. And for some, you continue to be that, whether you're a parent or not, whether it doesn't matter how old you are. It's almost like you hold space for so many. And I'm hearing it's like, you know, you might even be someone that's at school right now. And you just hold your friends in the deepest amount of love that some of them have ever experienced. And for some, you know that you've crossed paths with those that really just didn't receive a lot of love in their lifetimes. And you've really been giving that to them. And you had to set these boundaries so that they could understand where they were taking from you. I'm hearing that some are going to see where they weren't giving as much to you as they could because, one, they didn't really know how to, and I think, two, they were just afraid. So be aware of that too when dealing with others, that sometimes fear is an overarching feeling that some can't work through at certain stages of their journey. And just to leave room for that fear to dissipate within one's own self and just stand strong in your boundaries and making sure that you're giving yourself more divine self-love is what I want to share. And I'm hearing that in all turn of phrase, and sometimes I get that message, so that's there for some. Pleasure with self is important. I feel like I could keep talking. I feel like this is very much we want to hold you and hug you from all teams of light right now. But I'm hearing that so many are going to gain a lot of understanding from self after this reading. From sitting with self, you're going to receive divine, you know, downloads and expressions being brought forward to you. So trust where you're being led. You might be guided to listen to certain music at this time. You might be guided to watch, you know, certain programs or movies, etc. And that might be something that you turned away from for a time. Mass media, I definitely try to not watch too much, but I'm guiding to certain things, you know, at certain times to watch. And yeah, it is nourishing for the soul. There's understanding from then. I've done a lot of research off the back of things that I've watched. So trust in that notion too. The Return. This is from the Mother Rose Oracle. A new story. You decide alignment. It's coming together. And for some of you, yeah, you've been waiting. You've just been waiting for this time. It's almost like this year, 2024, this next season, you were having to wait for this so that you could fully transform. Wow. Okay. And I've just been working with a lot of divine iconography of Mother Mary earlier today, so I'm grateful to see her here as well. The Mystic Rose, compassion, devotion, humility, humanity, and grace. And for some of you, you might start to have a real affinity for certain religion or spiritual practices that you just didn't feel connected to at any other point in your lifetime. And I'm hearing that, you know, not necessarily that's going to stick, but trust in that energy. It's almost like this idea of devotion and compassion and humanity and humility is really wanting to step forward. And I think there's some expressions of spiritual practices that are wanting to be worked through you at this time, and you're going to, you know, receive all of that divine energy and let go of the perceived biasness in that space, but you're going to embody this energy. And for some of you, this is the union that you've been waiting for. You've been waiting for this divine love, when actually you've been waiting for devotion to a specific vibration of love that is going to be the vibration that you ripple out into your spaces of expression. And, you know, how we receive love and experience love is incredibly different depending on how we've lived our own respective lives. And that's not something that I've necessarily thought of to that capacity before. But even in terms of a vibration of, you know, essence of love, it's different because of whom we are. We do have universal love, but it's still experienced in a very different way. Like, you can't exactly know what that love feels like to another person because you haven't lived their life. So remember that when trying to be with others, sometimes, you know, one person has a deeper capacity of love that they've experienced that the other hasn't experienced yet, and it's going to be through you that they experience that, which is an incredibly beautiful message. And yeah, that makes you absolutely just want to burst into tears. But some of you hold such love and devotion. It's untrue. It's unprecedented, the amount of love that you have the capacity for. Don't lose that right now. The sacred union, beloved, within inner and outer relationships. Yeah, some of you, don't let life make you feel cold right now, even if you feel like you've been in the coldest spaces of late. Allow for yourself to surrender with this new moon in Virgo and bring all of that tendering love and essence that you know exists and give it to yourself. This is about you seeding your expression of love so that you have a deeper well of capacity to share that with others in a more balanced space. For some of you, you've been giving and giving and giving and giving, and you had to be put to a stop so that you could see that and see where you needed to shift your boundaries, your expression, to be able to be in a more harmonious space that you can give more, but from the deepest well of universal love that shines through you. And every being here is so divine, so cosmic. You are a warrior, and all of you have a massive, massive heart of gold. And, you know, I think that expression is going to annoy some. You know, you like to live on the edge and the more taboo and darker aspects of life, but you still have a big heart. So remember that whomever you are in your space, you deserve love. You deserve to receive love in the ways that you want it, but sometimes it takes us working on ourselves to be able to bring that energy in. So there might be a little bit of a gap, a little bit of a lag right now of how you want to receive love, and being able to be in the vibration to be able to receive that too. So remember, it's a work in progress, specifically in, you know, interconnected and very personal relationships. For some of you, this is going to be family, this is going to be partner, and for some, you know, this is everyone across the board. It's like the way that you give love is going to change so incredibly deeply and different, that you're going to feel like a different being to so many. And I'm hearing that this might shock some, but also this is going to allow for you to just be you. Yeah, I'm just hearing be you, be you, be you. And for someone was asking what I'm drinking today, I'm actually drinking some honey and a rosebud, which is a favorite of mine, specifically when I'm working with my sacral chakra and my heart chakra. So that's a message for some. Honey is going to be incredibly healing for you. And I was told to continue to eat honey, although I am vegan, because it does very much heal my ancestral lineage. And I've been dealing with a lot of those aspects in this lifetime. So, wherever you're being intuitively led at this time to be expressing yourself, consuming whatever you need to, start to really tune into that, because it's here for a reason. And for some of you, don't shame yourselves into for the things that you want to be partaking in right now, because you need it for your expression. So, trust your intuition with all of that expression, but that's just for some to, remind you that however you want to be expressing yourself or living your life right now, there is no wrong way. I don't let the perceived notion of others hold you back. And I was getting this message that, I think somewhere on my path, I just didn't want this to be true. And I think it sent me on a spiral of expression that I was really just hurting myself, because I didn't want to believe that there are others out here that, only gain self-love through hurting others. And I was hearing that if you feel like whenever you mention something in your life to others, you feel like that expression then turns to be pretty dark or negative, it's because those that you are sharing that expression with, they are having a troublesome time allowing for you to receive whatever it is that you've expressed. And that is a very true notion. And that is incredibly on them, and try and hold compassion for them in those spaces, but also realize that you can alchemize the energy. For some of you, are incredibly powerful magicians, warlocks, sorcerers, witches. And this expression has been brought forward so that you can see where the energy of others does affect your space, and for you to take control and ownership of that. And for you to see that, in some expressions of your life, you have very much been targeted by many forces out there. I'm getting quite an expansive understanding of that. But you've been fighting tooth and nail to hang on to your love and your happiness, and you've done so well, some of you, but you really need to just put the sword down. And you're allowed to do that now. Some of you have had to fight for where you are in your position right now, but you're ready to put the sword down, and this is your confirmation that it's time. You're going to move through love, through grace, and you're not going to fight anymore. You're not going to need to fight anymore. Initiation is over. Those karmic contracts have been dealt with, and you now just get to experience the love and the luxuries and the beauty of life, because that's all you've wanted. For some of you, it's making me really upset. You just feel like, you've been pushed into spaces where you didn't even want to fight, but you knew that you had to. And that's been really challenging for some, because all you've done is just love others for the majority of your life, but you felt like others didn't love you. You felt attacked constantly. But I'm hearing that it's okay. You've gone through the worst, and it's now time to put it down. You can put that weight down, release that through this new moon, so that you can just work on self through these eclipses. For some of you, know that you've been doing shadow work for some time. This eclipse energy is going to feel incredibly different to what you once thought. And specifically, if you feel like you've been incredibly chaotic in your expression of late, it's because you are releasing so much now, so that this eclipse season can be a different expression for you. You're going to work with these eclipse moons in a very, very different way. And this is very much going to be heart-centric, compassionate-centric, beauty-centric, luxury-centric space. You're going to be a warrior of light. And heart, a warrior of light and heart. And sometimes that looks very incredibly different in depending where we are in our journey, but this is going to be a whole different way of being a warrior. You're going to bring in so much cosmic energy, so much divine feminine energy, so much divine grace and willpower and devotion. Yeah, it's just, I think the word is devotion. And the devotion where you are on your knees, because the energy is just so high, and I'm hearing the most explicit of understanding in that, and that also being an incredibly divine space if you are with the right person. So that's an expression for some too. You have to be in the right vibration and with the right person for things to feel in total alignment. So take a look at that, what that might mean to you, and work on self, everyone that is here, so that you can express love and devotion with others from a heart-centric space and be this cosmic light warrior that you know that you are. Every being is a cosmic being. We all have cosmic DNA, no matter your expression right now. Even if you consider yourself to be, 1000% human, I highly doubt it at this point. There's been one singular human that I've met in my entire life of being here, which, I found incredibly interesting to know. But you deserve to feel everything that you are yet to even experience. For everyone here, the world is going to look incredibly different in the coming years, and I'm very excited for those spaces. And yeah, I'm glad for that confirmation in this reading. So that's all from myself and all of your teams of light for the new moon Virgo. I hope these messages have been helpful. I very much felt held in everyone's guys' energy, and that my heart is just absolutely gushing open. My higher heart chakra is just completely, I don't even know how to explain what I'm feeling right now, but it's very real. This divine love and devotion is very real. It's very here. It's an incredibly different vibration than I think many of us have been sat in for some time, and it's time to receive, specifically my divine feminine energies. It's time to receive. And I love each and every single one of you star sisters that are out here right now, working on self, working on your respective spaces, your families, any bit of research, any bit of, just trying to make the world a better place for others. I see where everyone is doing this in their spaces, specifically the divine feminines of the last, centuries of late. We've been very much seeding in this expression for the spaces that are to come, and that's a more balanced space with divine feminine and divine masculine energies in unison together, working with each other. And yeah, I'm excited for those spaces, and thank you all for being here. Thank you all for witnessing. If you would like to work with me, please do not hesitate to reach out. How to contact me is in the description below. If you would like an extended reading on this, extended messages on this reading, that is also open there for discussion too. But that's all from myself and all of your teams of light, your ancestors, and everything else in between, cosmic and otherwise. Yeah, I feel everyone is here, and yeah, it's really beautiful. I think it's been a little while since I felt everyone's energy in a space like this, and yeah, I feel incredibly held and nurtured, and I hope that all of you have too within this space. But that's all for myself tonight, and take care. Please do enjoy this new moon, and yeah, be ready for eclipse season, but perhaps a much softer eclipse than you've experienced before. And that notion won't be for everyone. I apologize. It might be the most chaotic eclipse season for some. You're just starting your spiritual path, and I hear you, I see you, and you will still be held in your space, but just in a very different way. So if you would like support in all of that, please do not hesitate to reach out. I have gone through so much on this path, in such a short space of time, that I feel like I can definitely shed some light in some of your spaces to help make that path be a little bit lighter for you. I wish I had a me from day one, but I'm grateful to have been, walking this path seemingly on my own for such a long time, although teams of light have supported me. And, I'm incredibly grateful that I'm now in a space where I know so many in such a beautiful community. And, I've been introduced to so many that have their own individual communities, and yeah, it's just ever growing and expanding, these networking understandings of cosmic energy. And yeah, I feel truly blessed to be here at this time. And yeah, it's taken me a long time to truly feel that. So I hear you if you are on a path of hating everything, your life, and being here, specifically being a starseed too. I hear you and I see you, and I promise you it does balance out eventually. It will continually be difficult and challenging, because that's why we came here, but you begin to be stronger in your convictions of whom you are at a soul-centric space, and that makes everything feel incredibly lighter, is what I want to share. But yeah, I feel like I don't want to leave. I feel like I just want to give everyone a massive hug, wrap you up in a blanket, invite you over for tea, run you a bath, and I mean that in the least I guess, yeah, sensual space possible. But yeah, I want to take care of everyone that is here, because I know that everyone has been working so hard on self. I can really feel that in the collective energy. And if you've been here for the longest time, I have no words of gratitude for you, because yeah, I'm grateful for you being here and seeding your light in this space. But I'm going to go before I start crying. Enjoy this new moon and eclipse season, but take care for now.